Right, it is 2:03. Hi, Lori. We will go ahead and get started. I actually did do some slides. That's a big deal for me. If you know, I don't typically do slides just because I don't know, I'm kind of spontaneous and I just tend to talk. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And I wanted to come on. I know I've done a masterclass before, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago on Pinterest, and they've recently made some changes. I've had a course sitting inside of me since about 2019, but I always felt like Pinterest was just so easy. But the more and more I talk to people, the more I come to know that people just really don't understand it, especially those in my audience and in my circle. And Pinterest has made some changes, and there's just a lot going on in the social media world that I think it's time that everyone really, take a look at Pinterest. And so I wanted to come on here today and just share with you all. Okay, so let's just think about this. Okay, you already have a lot of content out there, right? I'm sure you do. You've got it some of everywhere. I heard Sherry say a blog. I know Val is on Instagram. I know she has multiple Instagrams. I know she has Facebooks. I'm not sure about Lori, but if you're here, I'm assuming you have content somewhere. So this is definitely not to impress you. And keep in mind that I am a creator. I have over 100,000 images and videos in my phone. Okay. So in reality, most people don't have that many, but I've created content for myself. I've created it for clients. I've created it because it's cheaper than therapy. I like to create. Okay. So I have all this content in my phone. I technically don't need to create another piece of content ever again in my life. What if I told you that last year, using content that was already in my phone, I created multiple 5-figure months with Pinterest using content that was already in my phone? Okay. I don't know where Valerie went. We lost my friend Valerie. Celeste just joined us. Welcome, Celeste. Val is back. Okay. I saw Celeste had joined too. Okay. So just to give you a little skinny on who I am, I know I've seen most of you recently in different connects. My name is Taryn Hamilton. I'm a 30+ year sales and marketing veteran. I, started in marketing fresh out of high school. I came on the internet early, probably in college, but I didn't really get on social media and get into until 2009. And I didn't get into social media marketing until 2013. However, I knew back as far as 2009 that at some point I would be bringing social media and my marketing skills together and teaching those to people. So since 2013, I've amassed large followings all over social media. And I can tell you that I don't have the largest, but I can also tell you that I've made more money from my social media than people with much larger social media followings than I do. And I hate to use the phrase, I made money. I actually made that money because I helped other people, because I served other people. And so I wanted to bring this message to you today, all about resharing, repurposing, redistributing content that you already had, because I get it that you're business owners. I get it that you already are either using a VA or someone else for your social media marketing services, and you're like, I don't want to learn anything else. I don't have the time to do this. So I want to show you how to do this and make it as easy as possible. Okay, so just a thought. Before you pin that next recipe, have you pinned for your business today? I want you to hang on to that thought. And I want you to now answer and tell me which one of these are you, okay? Do you pin at least frequently, but not ever to support the growth of your business and basically your own content, you're always posting other people's content. Are you the person who started an account years ago and have since abandoned it? Or have you just never been on Pinterest and you don't understand it? Okay, let me check the chat. Can I check the chat from here? But put that in the chat. I will get back to that in a moment, okay? Because this is what I find in talking to others is that they typically fall into one of these three buckets. Now I can see you all again. Can you just kind of raise your hand? Looks like there's people who haven't made it in yet. Coach Ingrid is here. Okay, so who's the first one? Raise your hand. If you pin it kind of frequently, but never to support your own business, okay? Who started an account, but they haven't visited it, probably don't know the password, okay? And I'm assuming, Celeste, you've never been on Pinterest or understand it. I love that we have one of everyone here because I've got a message for all of y'all today, okay? Okay, so let's talk about why Pinterest, okay? There are, as of April this year, 463 million active users per month on Pinterest, okay? It is one of the most frequently visited websites in the world. 76% of pinners are female identified, okay? And it's diverse among the age groups. So if your target, if your ideal client is boomer, they're there. If they're Gen X, they're there. If they're millennial, they're there. If they're Gen Z, your ideal client is on Pinterest. There are 2 billion monthly searches on the platform itself. Listen to what I just said. There are 2 billion monthly searches on the platform itself. Over 80% of Pinterest users have made a purchase based on the content that they've discovered on Pinterest. 45% have incomes greater than 100K per year. Is this sounding very tempting to you yet? Okay. 80% of the audience is outside the US. And then people go right away to, well, do I need to be on there if I'm in the US? Absolutely, because there's nearly 100 million users from the US alone on Pinterest, okay? So let's go back to this the searches, 2 billion monthly searches. Where else do people search? You can say it all out.
We'll say Google.
Yes. Right? And what is Google?
A search engine?
Correct.
Okay.
So imagine, okay, before I go there, there's one other place that people search, but it's a little different. And it is, I'm going to give you a hint, it's actually owned by Google.
Oh, YouTube.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So people search YouTube, they search Google, and now guess what? They're searching Pinterest. So is Pinterest social media or is Pinterest a search engine? I'll answer for you. It's both. Okay. It's both. It's an inspiration visual search engine. Oh yes, Celeste, these stats are just the tip of the iceberg. I could just do a presentation on stats alone, but I tend to try not to be that person, but I am pretty numbers driven and I do love me some numbers. Okay, so let's take a look at this because this is really eye-opening as well. Okay, so I'm assuming all of you have some sort of presence on Facebook, whether it be your personal page, a business page, or both, right? Yeah. Okay. How's your reach been lately? In the tanks, right? So Facebook reach, I remember that song when I was a kid, that old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be. Facebook is kind of the old gray mare in this case, and she just ain't what she used to be. 2023 reach is somewhere around 4.23%. And that's if you're really good. That's if you're like a Tamara Hamilton who calls herself the chief engagement officer, who knows how to get that engagement and just can do it like snapping her fingers, right? Not everybody can do that. And I'm not saying that to impress you, but to impress upon you that just because that's the average doesn't mean that's what everyone is getting. Some people are getting, there are times when I can get more than that. There are times when even I get less than that, right? What if I told you that's intentional on Facebook's part? Would you believe me? It is. It's intentional on their part. And do you know why?
Because they want to sell ads.
Exactly. They don't want you on their platform growing or organically, not even with reels that are directly promoting your business without them getting a cut. Okay. So understand that. And when I'm talking about reach, I'm speaking specifically of organic reach. It is in massive decline on Facebook. Okay. Not only that, does Facebook feel a little more complicated these days when you got to make reels and you got to do stories and you got to do all these things, and they don't all necessarily flow together or help you and support your business because you're a business owner, right? You got clients to meet with, you got clients to serve, you've got other things to do to support your business than other than be on Facebook all day, every day. Okay. So consider this. Your ideal client is on Pinterest. I've shown you that, but your nearest competitor isn't. Why keep going toe to toe with them on Facebook when you can have all of your ideal client attention focused solely on you on Pinterest? Okay. That's something to think about. I love the movie with Jennifer Lawrence where the lady with the crazy hair says, "May the odds be ever in your favor." That's kind of like Facebook, right? Am I right? May the algorithm be ever in your favor, right? I have been on Pinterest since 2013, and it coincided with when I started my first online business and started blogging. And how I wound up on Pinterest was they were in beta and someone posted a quote that I absolutely loved, but I couldn't really click on it and fully get to it because I wasn't a Pinterest user. I had to wait. I had to sign up for the waiting list, and I wanted to be on. I wanted to be on this platform, right? And so I finally got on the waiting list, and I would just spend hours, because I fit everything we said that the Pinterest user is. I had the higher income, I had the higher education, I was a woman, right? I had money to spend. And so I would be on Pinterest just pinning my heart's desire. And so then I started this business and I was like, I'm going to put these things on Pinterest. And some of them went ape nuts. They went far, they went wide. And I began to notice too that guess what? I began to have things show up on the first page of Google because back then Google hadn't figured out that Pinterest was a search engine. So they didn't see Pinterest as competition. So they would, when you would search for certain things, I accidentally, without knowing anything about SEO, was showing up on the first page of Google for certain search terms because of my pins. Right? Whereas some of those same terms, had I tried to show up on the first page of Google through Google, I would not have been able to do that. So Pinterest allowed me to be able to show up on the first page of Google because they prioritized pins because they saw Pinterest as an authority and a good, reputable traffic source, right? That still works somewhat to this day. And so my Pinterest is growing and growing and growing to about 1,000 followers. But what was more important was I didn't care about the followers. Guess what I cared about? The traffic to my blog, the traffic to my websites that was coming from Pinterest was insane in the membrane. Gen X here. There'll be lots of those references. It was insane in the membrane, y'all. So I became a believer. And you want to know what I loved most about Pinterest? I didn't have to spend a lot of time doing it. It didn't take a lot of work, right? Now, in the beginning, when I set up my blog and I would want to make sure that certain blog posts and certain images were on there, that took time, but it wasn't really difficult things to do or learn. And this is why it took me so long to create a course, because I was like, why would anybody pay me to do this? This doesn't make sense. Like it's super easy, but like most things, it has not become as complicated as other platforms, but there are some nuances that I think it's important to share. So may the algorithm be ever in your favor, because it's always a good day to grow your business on Pinterest, especially when many of your nearest competitors are not there. They don't have a Tamara Hamilton in their life saying, girl, you better get over here on Pinterest with me. They don't have that, right? And so they're still not on Pinterest, or they've abandoned their account and not paying attention because they don't see the value in it for themselves. But Pinterest is growing. It was at 300 million monthly active users not that long ago, and it continues to grow. It's one of the fastest growing platforms out there. And it reminds me of, I was an insurance agent with the Northwestern Mutual Financial Network years ago, and they were known as the quiet company. They were this big company, but they were very quiet about it. And Pinterest reminds me of that, okay? So keep in mind, some of you, a good number of you, raise your hand, you're already on Pinterest. Now imagine actually using it to build your audience, expand your audience, because that's why we're on social media. We're not on social media to sell. In fact, you've got a 5 times greater chance of converting someone to buy from you on your email list than you do on social media. But remember that stat I shared with you about 80% of Pinterest users bought something that they discovered on Pinterest, okay? Because Pinterest is a search engine, so they're there with intent. Collect leads and explode your business growth, because it's a search engine and people are there looking for inspiration. One of the things that is trending this year on Pinterest, which their Pinterest predicts is phenomenal, by the way, what they predict and how I'm able to stay ahead of trends. And that's part of the reason I get a lot of engagement, is because I'm tapped in, tuned in with Pinterest. And so I know and can spot trends, and I've learned from them what trends are, is 50th birthday celebrations, 100th birthday celebrations. So people are on Pinterest looking for themes for these celebrations. But raise your hand if you've previously just thought of recipes when you heard Pinterest. Okay. Raise your hand if you only thought do-it-yourself or crafting. Right? Pinterest is so much more than that. My first pin to hit 1 million views was on affiliate marketing. Val, you are hilarious. I didn't say my pin. I said my first pin to hit 1 million views was on affiliate marketing. In fact, probably the first 3 or 5 were all affiliate marketing in the make money online space, not the cosmetic stuff, not the skincare stuff. It was the stuff that you would never think that people were on Pinterest looking for. Okay. So here's the key. The key is to have a strategy. And the strategy that I teach is what I like to call the secret to winning at Pinterest when you're short on time. Does that sound like something that would be of value to you, right? Because you want to do this and you want to do it in the smart way, right? So I'm going to save you some time. I've already kind of given you the key to the secret, and that is the content that you already have. So it's about going back and looking at your content and picking out the best performing content, repurposing it, resharing it, and posting it on Pinterest. Now, one of the things that really sets Pinterest apart from everyone else, on top of it being a visual inspiration search engine, is the fact that short form video does really well on Pinterest, and you can put a link where the person can click directly from that short form video to your landing page, to your blog, to your cart, so that they can make that purchase. Because remember, here's one thing that's difficult about Facebook. When someone sees your content on Facebook, number one, there ain't no link, right? And we do that broken grammar stuff here for dramatic effect. It has nothing to do with my education. It has nothing to do with my knowledge or expertise. That's on purpose, okay? There's no link. There's no link, right? They also may or may not remember you. They may or may not see you again, especially in the case of a viral reel. However, while they can save it on Facebook, do you ever really go back to the stuff you save on Facebook? I know I don't. I got tons of it saved. Same with Instagram, right? On Pinterest, they are saving it. It is like a shopping list. When you get a save on Pinterest, that is like a shopping list. They are saving that because they're there looking for inspiration for a bridal shower, for a baby shower, for a business that they're planning on starting, how to market it, for journal prompts because they're working on inner healing, for a makeup look, for all kinds of things, right? For recipes. I find a lot of keto recipes. And so I started posting keto recipes and then linking to health and wellness supplements that I use and love, right? So it's about taking some of that best performing content and even some of the content that didn't perform well on Facebook, and it will perform well on Pinterest, but you don't know until you post it, right? So even if it didn't perform well, if you get that visceral reaction that this might be something worth it on Pinterest, you're going to post it anyway, right? It's also about setting yourself up correctly from the start. That means keywords. That means optimizing your profile. That means optimizing the name, your boards and your pins themselves so that they can show up. Because remember, people are not just on Pinterest waiting for Pinterest to show it, whatever it wants to show them, like on Facebook. They're on there with intent. They are actually searching, and you want to come up in those searches related to your ideal client, okay? So it's all strategy. So it only makes sense to use the content you've already posted on Facebook to create an income on Pinterest. I think I've shown you that, okay? One of the things I love about Pinterest, would you believe it if I told you that Pinterest is AI? I see the quizzical looks, right? So we've been using AI for years and didn't know it. You know what the algorithm is? It's artificial intelligence. The algorithm pays attention to what you click on, how long you look at it. If you click see more, it pays attention to all of those things, and it serves you up more of that same content. That's why coaches who bully you into believing that their way is the only way, I consider them to be trash. When they tell you that you've got to do it this way because the algorithm, they're lying to you, because that's what the algorithm is doing to them based on what they're clicking, their usage, and what their preferences are. Your algorithm is individualized to you because it's based on what you view, what you click on, what you scroll past, what you tell it to. You can literally tell it, I don't want to see this again. Show me more of this, or show me less of this, right? Pinterest takes it a step further though, right? What they do is they have different tools that you can use to help you better serve up content to serve your ideal client. Those tools are things like Pinterest Trends, which will help you figure out what keywords to go after and create content for. And we go through all of that in the course. I bring up AI because you've been seeing AI throughout this presentation and you didn't know it. Okay. I see the quizzical looks. This image is not a real woman. This image, I used Canva to create this presentation. And I told Canva, did you notice that every woman has on red and that there's red somewhere in the picture? Because I told Canva to create pictures that have red. either a red shirt or red accents. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. Most of these pictures that are not me are, I think only one of them is a stock photo. All the rest are AI generated. I noticed one of the women looked funny in the earlier slide. It's possible, right? I tried to weed some of that stuff out, but yeah. Right? So Pinterest has great AI tools built within it, and you can pair it with the tools of Canva and other platforms in order to be able to really reach your ideal client. I do want to take a look at my notes here too, because I've just ignored them so far. So the other thing I want to talk about is what you see the woman in this picture doing is she's on Pinterest and she's pinning. So when other pinners pin your content, that's one of the main reasons you're on Pinterest, is for other pinners to pin your content, because now, number one, that's how your pin can go viral, but now they're doing the work and helping you get in front of people that you wouldn't have been able to get in front of otherwise, okay? So here I have another stat for you. Where did it go? Reshared pins can receive up to 100 times more engagement than freshly pinned content. So that is other people resharing your pin. Wouldn't you love that on Facebook? It's been years since it's happened, okay? So again, it's only logical to use the content that you already have on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and get it over on to Pinterest. Because here's another stat for you. Your Facebook posts generally only have about a 5 to 6 hour lifespan. Take a guess at what it is on Pinterest.
A year?
Anywhere from 6 to 18 months. I've had some that have raged. You know what I mean when I say raged? They raged for 3 or 4 years. I have one pin in particular that was posted in 2014 that was still sending me business in 2018 when I shuttered that business. Okay, so those are averages. Again, remember, it can be more than that. Okay, so what questions do you have that I can answer? I can hit you with another stat while you formulate your question. Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
So I understand I understand in quotations, right, how you could pin and use pins from like a blog or from like your website, correct? Because I pin things like that. So now you had mentioned if people had content that they've already put out like on like Facebook, Instagram, how would somebody utilize that on Pinterest?
What you would do is you would first download it, make sure there are no logos from the other platform on there, and then you can use the Pinterest app and you can upload it to Pinterest.
And then you would like backlink it to your website somehow, or?
Yes, you can, there's a spot where you just put the link in there.
Okay.
And by the way, one of the things we teach in the course is how to claim your account, because when you claim that account, Pinterest is then vetting that website, and pins from claimed websites do better. They reach more people because that's part of the Pinterest algorithm. And we go through all of that in the course, as far as, you know, again, optimizing and setting yourself up for success. So here's something from HubSpot. A case study conducted by HubSpot demonstrated that businesses leveraging Pinterest as part of their marketing strategy witnessed a 67% increase in website traffic from the platform. 67% increase in website traffic, right? Because a lot of people create blogs and they think, oh, I created this blog, it's just going to automatically get traffic. And sometimes that happens, but more often than not, you've got to be actively promoting that website. You've got to be actively promoting those links, sending them to your email list, posting them on Twitter, posting them all the places and more than once to really generate and stimulate that traffic. Well, if you put an optimized pin up on Pinterest and it begins to get reshares, you're going to see the traffic. I remember there being days like, whoa, my blog traffic really spiked today. And it would be a pin that was going crazy over on Pinterest that was driving all that traffic over to the website. You know, same with leads. Oh my God, there's a ton of leads just came in today. And it'd be a pin that gone crazy over on Pinterest. In fact, Pinterest was always my number 2 source, has always been my number 2 source of organic traffic to my blogs, with Google being the first, unless I, at some time, which I don't run them much anymore, I was running a Facebook ad. Then Facebook could at times be up there, but it was always paid. It was very rarely, I can't think of ever when it was organic. The organic traffic always came from Pinterest. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that people are searching on Pinterest, where people on Facebook, they'll buy, but that's not what they're there for. What other questions do you have? I love the way your hair is flying with the fan, Coach Ingrid. You're so funny. I do welcome you to a 15-minute Zoom where we can kind of get a little more intimate and discuss all of this, if that would help you and help you figure things out and answer any questions that you have. But Pinterest, I look at it this way, okay? Number one, everybody, this always comes up. Are you afraid AI will replace you? I'm not afraid AI will replace me. And here's why. Because I intend and already am using AI to better serve you, to increase my skill set, to increase my knowledge, and be able to increase my value, including this presentation in this course, right? And so I look at it as I can either do that, or I can pay somebody who's going to be using AI. And I'm going to have to pay them more, not less, because they're using AI. And I see Pinterest as that same way. Organic reach is quickly becoming a thing of the past on Mark Zuckerberg's platforms. There's always the risk of, is Facebook going to be down today? And if Facebook is down today, for example, there's a girl on Instagram crying and rallying, but because she created this business that sells refurbed Louis Vuitton and high-end designer bags, right? And she's done really well. I mean, they've got a real office set up. They've got real employees. They do all of the quality control and checks to make sure that they are not selling or illegally doing what they're doing. Everything is on the up and up. Well, Instagram, somebody reported them, and Instagram said that their account violated their terms and conditions. 80% of her business was generated from Instagram. Do you understand why she's crying? Why she's begging everybody to contact Facebook? Right? So we can't put all of our eggs in one basket. We have to have other platforms where we are playing, where we at least have a presence. And Pinterest was always that platform where I was able to have a presence and not have to be on there all day, every day. Pinterest has always been something where I kind of rage, where I go on and I just pin. And then I might forget about it and not go on Pinterest or even open the app for months. But you know what's still happening? I'm still collecting leads. I'm still making sales. I'm still getting website traffic, right? You can't do that on Facebook. Lori is raising her hands.
Yes, I thought of another question. So you had the three types of
Okay.
people. All right. So you had the three types of people. So
Yes.
the two per se lower types in your list of people, so ones that like have their account and like people who
Hmm.
had their account use it a little bit, but they didn't use it for business. So if they were looking at going in and starting to add items for their business, should they redo their like profile to match
Absolutely.
their okay. Yeah, so it should match like your other personas on the other social medias, correct?
It doesn't have
Slash
to because your
website.
Pinterest ideal client might be a little different,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Remember, they have higher education, they have higher income levels. So, it can be, yeah, they still have the same problem, but you might switch up your messaging just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because they have the higher income level, they have the higher level of education. I don't always I'll give you an example. My Facebook audience is definitely very, on my personal page, which is now a professional profile, is very Gen X with some boomers, right?
Really? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, on Facebook.
I, I thought I'm sorry. I thought they were just a bunch of moms making crafts and showing you how to do birthday parties for your 8-year-old.
On Pinterest? No, on Pinterest, my
What
audience
is
that is
making
very
it be like
into, listen to this. And Pinterest will give you, they have audience insights that are incredible. My audience, and I actually show my audience insights in the course, in the recorded video. My audience that is into beauty is also very much into money, y'all. They're very much into money. And that's on Pinterest. But I will also tell you that my audience on Instagram is very millennial. It's a lot higher millennial percentage. So is my messaging, my core message is the same. It's going to sound a little different and look a little different on each platform. Yes, Val.
So you have one Pinterest or you have multiple Pinterest?
I have one Pinterest account.
So the over 40 beauty, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah.
I know what you mean. I'm not offended.
Thank you. You can call me on it if you are. Okay.
wow.
Yeah, because
With that, go ahead.
I'm on the phone looking you up. So hey.
And that's okay.
And you don't have yours divided into little, like, I call them chapters.
The boards aren't as important anymore. They are there, and I teach you to utilize them because I think they help you in the beginning as you are really, because what I'm setting you up for is explosive growth, the potential for explosive growth. Now, of course, I can't guarantee that. But if you follow what I'm doing, there's a good chance that you can have and experience some explosive growth. And even if you don't, on the back end, I'm still setting you up for long-term success. Okay. And so by having those boards in the beginning, and I'll give you this because this was from our bonus on Saturday. I did an office hours, and I've got another one that is probably going to be a week from this coming Saturday. Right. And so everybody was able to bring what they've done, and I was able to review it. And it was a really great session because everybody was able to learn from each other, which is why I love it being a mastermind. But anyway, on there to help people understand modules 1 and 2, I explained that what we did for the first 2 weeks was the Dewey Decimal System. Do you remember the Dewey Decimal System when you'd go to the library and how it was really about categorizing everything? Those boards are part of the Dewey Decimal System that we're setting up and really helping you optimize so that when people hit that search bar, you're coming up. But they're not as important or as relevant as they were. Just like hashtags are still, important on Instagram, but they're just not as important as they once were. These are great questions.
I need to get my 4 sessions with you on the calendar, man.
Yes.
I've been procrastinating. Can you tell?
Yep.
This whole thing is blowing my mind, Tamara. I just like the I just yeah.
Yeah. And Val, so the 40 plus whatever you saw there, the blah blah blah. The other thing, Lori, that I speak to is, yes, I'm 40 plus, pretty much. I will be 50 in January. But I'm also speaking to those in their 30s who care about their skin and want to take care of it now, Miss Preventative. So I also have content for them. It might not be my main persona, but I'm also hitting them. And here's the thing that I always stress to everyone, that you can't mess it up, right? Because you can always change the name of your account. You can always change the description. You can always delete, hide, and create new boards that are optimized, and you can re-optimize the ones that you have. So you can't mess it up. So, you know, the question always comes up, do I need to start a new account? If you want to, you don't have to, because you can just freshen up the new one and get it going.
I have a question.
Yes.
I want all the information about this mastermind that you have going on.
Awesome. It's 6 weeks. I'm sorry, not 6 weeks. It's actually 6 modules. In the beta group, those who joined right away were able to watch, and they were there when I recorded each session. And so there are workbooks, there's transcripts, there's over $2,000 worth of bonuses, including my Discover Your Ideal Client is in there. A video marketing course is in there. And I'll probably be updating that this summer to really make it specific to short form video. But live video is still relevant. By the way, I didn't even tell you, you can go live on Pinterest. I told you I get so passionate I forget about my notes. I was telling the girl earlier, like, yeah, I gotta get my presentation together. Like, I gotta create the slides before 2 o'clock. And I'm like, but I know what I'm talking about, so it doesn't matter because I know what I'm talking about. And so sometimes because I know what I'm talking about, I forget the notes. But yeah, you can go live on Pinterest. Couple things about Pinterest. Pinterest is very positive. All the negative politics, all the misinformation, the disinformation is not even allowed over there. They are not about that life over there. Okay. And so it's very much about it being a safe space, which has always been a value of my personal brand, about having and creating a safe space. And so they're very protective of that safe space. And so you don't get to just say, oh, it's 2:30, I feel like going live. Something just happened and I feel inspired. You can still feel inspired, but then you want to outline it and you want to submit it for approval, which they will approve generally within 24 to 48 hours. So you'd be looking at going live about a week or so out. And they get back to you really quickly. Like, we scheduled one just for educational purposes when we recorded the video. And by the end of that video, they'd gotten back to me and told me that it was denied with a reason. Facebook just deny you. Facebook just shut you down and don't tell you why. And they were like, no, this is great, but there's another live at that time. Here's a date. And they told me, here's a date and time that works better. So it's just a completely different, they're very transparent. I've learned so much because I've worked with them directly over the last 2 years, which was another reason to come out with this course, because I've got insider information that I share in the course that I know for a fact no one else is talking about. I think it's week 2 or week 3, I shared something. It's a very little thing, but it blew everyone's mind when I told them this piece of information to help them get their pins in front of more people. It's the smallest little thing, but I know for a fact no one else is talking about it. Because every time I watch someone else talk about Pinterest, and I'm like, but you didn't tell them this. And it's because they don't know, because they didn't work directly with Pinterest like I did for the last 2 years. So yeah, it's a 6-week module. I love keeping it in a Facebook group in Mastermind because, like, yes, over the weekend, someone asked like a series of 2 or 3 questions, and I was glad I sat on it and marinated. So then I went live yesterday and pulled out the whiteboard, and now there's another bonus in the group, right? I don't do that every single time, but I love for the questions to be asked in the group because then other people can learn from that. If you've got that question, chances are someone else has that question. It's $397. I still have beta pricing out there. I would value, and I've run the analysis, the course is valued at least $997, and it's still in beta at $397. So I want to keep it there for now, get a few more bodies in, because the thing with the Pinterest algorithm is it can take a good 90 days to 180 days for your pin to really pick up that traction and get out there. And then once it does, it can just, like, I was reviewing my pins the other day, and pins that I did a year ago that initially I was like, couple hundred views, now have multiple thousands of views and clicks a year later. So, you know, and the reason I started it in June was so that people can get in, and there's still time to get in and get your pins warmed up and hot and ready, because guess what's coming? Black Friday, the holidays. Right? For the past couple of years, Pinterest, they do their holiday webinar in June. And I got 30 years of sales and marketing experience. So my first job in marketing right out of high school, I was working on Glade for SC Johnson, and they were taking bookings for September to figure out how much to produce in June, and had been since May or April. So I've always been of the mindset that holiday stuff should already be ready to go by the holidays, when most people first start thinking about it, right? And so that's why I love Pinterest, and just the tools and the resources that are available. And it's just a great, positive, woman-focused platform. Now, I did just learn that their CEO isn't a woman, and I was not too happy about that, but they do have a lot of women, and they really embrace diversity. They really embrace LGBTQIA. It's just a great, positive, forward platform. They welcome everyone, but, you know, just a lot of the other shenanigans that go on, especially like on Twitter, X, whatever they call themselves these days, and has gone on Facebook. It doesn't happen there. And it's not like it's a censoring thing. These are policies, and this is the type of environment that we have here, and they're very protective of that. And I love that, because it makes you feel safe, and that's what it's about, creating a safe space. So what other questions did you have about that, Celeste, that I can answer?
Well, I just stuck it in the chat, but I was like, what's the link?
Oh, let me see.
Where do I sign up? Give me the things.
All right, let me grab that and I will send it up, put it in the chat. Get out of there. Okay.
And I'm still crushing on your hair color.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This link is the sales page, and in there are links, and there is a button where you can go directly to the cart, but it's also good for you to have to know what to expect, and just know that it's expanded on. Because I originally kind of saw this as, okay, beta will get it this way, but I'm really seeing the value in keeping it in the group and just adding people, and even just making it a monthly office hours or two where people can come and bring their content, and we can review it and work together for at least 6 months. Will it always be that way? I'm not going to promise that, but I think for a good 6 to 12 months, that's kind of the vision that I have. Plus, it's just a really exciting time for social media marketing again. Like, they're competing, and guess who benefits when they compete for us? We do. We get to benefit, right? Like, Facebook put me in this program. I know I'm not going to get $30,000 bonus, because Facebook loves to tease you and then they take it away. But, you know, like Twitter and Facebook. I mean, Elon and Mark are literally feuding, right? And so Facebook, Instagram rolls out Threads, which is a Twitter copycat, right? and it's text based because everybody's kind of burnt out from having to always come up with short form video stuff, right? And then I actually give you an answer for that in the course too. And then yesterday, guess what TikTok did? They rolled out text only posts. You can post just text now on TikTok. So they're all competing, which means we get to win is, as long as we have the right strategy. And that's really, like, a lot of people want to hire me to do their social media. And I'm like, I just don't even have the creative capacity to do other people's social media the way that I would do social media. My own keeps me busy enough, but definitely you can hire me to tap into this brain, right? I've had clients tell me, you got this big old brain. I'm like, I know. I just scratched myself across my forehead last night too, but I used this facial oil so you can't tell. So yeah, the link is there. Would love to have you. I didn't really intend to like drop that here because it's diamond, but you asked for it, so there it is. Any other questions? All right, well, I'm going to give you 6 minutes of your time back, give you 6 minutes of your life back. And if you want to use those to get signed up, you can. Thank you all. Back at you, babe.
Getting on your schedule. Oh,
yeah, just hit me up.
You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you, everyone.
All right, thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.